They say that in 1970, the air in Lake Station, Indiana, tasted like copper and cold rain. It was a year of progress for some, but for the Couture family, time simply stopped. Eva Couture was 78 years old. She wasn't just a business owner, she was a fixture of the community. A woman who spent her life dispensing cures for others' ailments. But on one silent night, inside her own home, she encountered a sickness that no medicine could touch. Bound, beaten, ransacked, no witnesses, no DNA, just a house full of echoes and a suspect list that led into a labyrinth of dead ends. The headlines called it a robbery. The locals? They whispered about a ghostly killer, someone who moved through walls and vanished into the northwest Indiana fog. 56 years later, the pharmacy is long gone. But tonight, we're breaking the seal on the evidence locker. We're pulling the red strings. And we're asking the question that has haunted this town for over half a century. Who silenced Eva Couture? And are they still watching?
In 1970, Lake Station was still known to everyone as East Gary. It was a place where people noticed when a light didn't come on at the usual time. Eva Couture was 78 years old, a fixture at the local pharmacy. She was punctual. She was reliable. So, when the clock struck the hour for her shift and the door remained locked, the silence was loud. Police arrived for a welfare check. What they found inside her home wasn't just a crime scene. It was a nightmare that would haunt Porter and Lake County for over half a century. Eva hadn't just been killed. She had been hunted in her own home. This scene was chaotic. The house had been ransacked, drawers pulled out, belongings scattered like confetti. This wasn't a professional hit. It was desperate. But the most chilling detail was Eva herself. She had been bound, beaten. The level of violence used against a 78-year-old woman suggested either a terrifying lack of soul or a frantic, panicked struggle. Investigators initially looked for a motive in the mess. Robbery seemed the obvious answer, but in a quiet residential patch of Lake Station, how does someone commit such a loud, violent act and simply vanish? No neighbors reported screams. No one saw a car speeding away. The killer walked in, took what they wanted, took a life, and walked back out into the Indiana winter. In the days that followed, the East Gary Police Department hit the pavement. They looked at the local troublemakers. They looked at people who knew Eva's schedule at the pharmacy. Was it someone she had served medicine to? Someone who knew she lived alone? The bad details of this case lie in the missed opportunities. In 1970, DNA was a sci-fi concept. Fingerprints were smudged. If the killer didn't leave a name, they were a ghost. A reward was posted. The community was on edge. Every stranger in town was looked at with suspicion. But as the weeks turned into months, the leads dried up. The file on Eva Couture was moved from the desk to the filing cabinet, to the basement. Today, the house still stands, but the question remains, who killed Eva Couture? In the era of genetic genealogy, no cold case is truly dead. Somewhere, in an evidence locker, there may be a piece of clothing, a stray hair, or a drop of blood that holds a 56-year-old secret. We tell these stories not just for the mystery, but for the person. Eva was a neighbor, a worker, a member of a community that never got an answer. Someone out there knows the name of the person who walked out of that house in February 1970. And it's time that name came to light.